Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Faye, and for today's video, I'm bringing you guys a foundation review. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a review on both the Huda Beauty FauxFilter foundation stick as well as their new primer. I originally wasn't going to pick up the primer, but when I read the description, I think it may be kind of trying to do something similar to the Milk Hydro Grip primer. And if you watch my channel, you guys already know that I am a stan for that primer. That is my holy grail. I use it every single time I do my makeup. I cannot live without that primer. So when I read the description on this one, I was like, let's see. So I went ahead and picked up both. I'm going to test both of them for you today. If you're new to my channel, I do have very oily skin, and I also have not really ever come across a stick foundation that I really liked. So we're gonna see how it goes with this one. I decided to get this one because I did really like her liquid foundation that she came out with a couple of years ago. So I decided to go ahead and just try out the stick foundation, see if I like it, and of course bring you guys a review on how it wears throughout the day. So if you enjoy this video, definitely be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new, I would love if you join the fam by clicking on the subscribe button down below. And as a reminder, I will have timestamps in the play bar as well as in the description down below. So if there's any parts that you want to skip to, I will have all of those parts labeled for you guys in the play bar, like I said, and in the description bar. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this review. Okay, so per usual, I'm going to start off with skin prep, and I'm literally going to use this primer in the same way that I would use my Milk Hydro Grip. So I'm just going to insert it into my routine in the same spot that my Milk Hydro Grip would go, and we're going to see how it wears on the skin. So first things first, I'm going to prep my face. I'm using my Too Faced Hangover RX Replenishing Primer and Setting Spray. Next up, I'm going to apply my Fenty Pro Filter Instant Retouch Primer. You guys already know, I mentioned this to you guys in pretty much every video. I love this primer. And then last but not least, to fill in my pores, I'm using the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. And I'm just going to press this in the areas where I have large pores to smooth the skin. Okay, so first up we have the Huda Beauty Water Jelly Hydrating Primer. This is what it looks like. First of all, I do really like the packaging. I like that it comes in this clear box. You can see the product right through it. And then I do also like that this is clear. Like, I just think this looks very aesthetically pleasing. This product retails for $33, and it says that it is a face primer that quenches the skin with a surge of moisture to create the perfect canvas for longer lasting flawless makeup. So let's go ahead and try it out. I'm just gonna pump, I think, oh, okay. So first of all, this is very runny. I don't know if you can see it literally running down my hand right here, which I was not expecting, and it also kind of just pumped out everywhere. So the formula of this is definitely different from the Milk one, because the Milk one is not runny like that. I don't know, this one feels almost like, I don't even know how to describe it. It feels like a gel, but it feels very like, I think it may be water-based. Maybe it's water-based. But you guys saw how runny it was. Now, I will say my skin does feel tacky after I applied that on my face. But it caught me off guard a little bit because I was kind of expecting a similar texture to the Milk one. So yeah, we'll see how this works. That may actually end up working well with the foundation. It may help it to glide over the skin a little bit better, but we'll see. Normally, I would set my primer with a translucent powder. Normally, I use this one, but I think I'm gonna skip setting the primer today, and I'm just going to use this later on in my routine because I just wonder how that would work with a stick foundation on top. I'll probably film another video in the future actually showing you guys like setting my primer first and seeing how it applies, but I want to give this a fair chance. So next I'm going to go in with the foundation. So this is what the packaging looks like on that. Again, super sleek, and I don't think this top, Okay, so the top is not a magnetic closure. Not that that matters, but I know sometimes with stick foundations, brands will have a magnetic closure. But either way, I think the packaging looks really nice. This retails for $39. It comes in 39 shades, I believe. It says it's supposed to be full to light coverage, which I don't really understand that. Full to light coverage. The finish is supposed to be natural. It's supposed to be good for all skin types. And it says that it's supposed to be a lightweight foundation that glides on easily, providing customizable coverage with a natural looking skin-like finish. So I really hope that I can get full coverage out of this, because y'all know me, I'm either full face or nothing at all, like go big or go home, period. So hopefully I will be able to build this up. And you guys know I have discoloration on my cheeks, and I also have a little uninvited visitor happening on my cheek today, so this will be a perfect time to test out this foundation. I picked mine up in the shade Gingerbread 430N, which I think is for neutral, and that is also the shade that I wear in the FauxFilter liquid foundation. So let's go ahead and get into the application. So it just has a little twist up container, which you can twist up and twist back down. So I'm just going to twist it up a little bit and just kind of apply it to the face. Okay, so I will say right off the bat, I think the color match is pretty good. Also, the foundation itself glides on the skin really, really smoothly, like it's not tugging on my face at all. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend out one side of my face with a brush, and then I'm going to go in on the other side with a sponge. I'm not really a fan of blending out my foundation with sponges, but for the purpose of the video, I'll just share with you guys what that looks like. So for my brush, I'm just using a Kabuki brush. This one is the one I always use from Morphe. This is my JH03 foundation brush, and I'm just going to kind of press this into the skin. I'm kind of like pressing and pulling at the same time, if that makes sense. And it seems to be blending out pretty easily. Make sure you blend it back in those edges so you don't have any lines of demarcation. Okay, so this is what it's looking like with one layer of coverage. I actually really like blending it out with the brush, but for the purposes of this video, I'll show you with the sponge as well. As usual, I'm using my sponge from DSMD Shop, and I'm just going to start to press it into the skin. And my sponge is damp, by the way. And it's actually blending out pretty easily. I'm not really having to put very much effort, which hopefully you guys can tell. It's kind of just blending into the skin really nicely. Okay, so this is what the sponge side looks like. This is what the brush side looks like. Personally, I prefer the brush side. I feel like I got a little bit more coverage on this side than I did on this side. But I do like how it blended out with the sponge. So what I'll probably do is blend it out with the brush and then go over it at the end with the sponge. So I am going to add a little bit more on my cheek area. We're going to see how it builds, because I can still see a little bit of my dark spots peeking through. And this time I'm just going to blend out both sides with the brush. And I just feel like with the brush, because you're kind of stippling it in, you tend to get more coverage when you use a brush, which makes sense. I mean, the purpose of the sponge is to not only blend out your foundation, but it also does a great job of picking up any excess product. So naturally, you would end up getting less coverage. But I do like how smooth the sponge side looked. So if you're somebody that needs a little bit more coverage, then I would recommend blending it out with a brush and then going over it, like I'm about to do now, with a sponge. So you get your coverage, and then you also get any excess product picked up with the sponge, and then you get your nice smooth kind of final layer. Alright y'all, so close up, here is what the foundation is looking like. It definitely looks a little bit kind of luminous on my skin, which, as I mentioned in the intro, I do have very oily skin, so I'm interested to see how this is gonna wear, especially after applying a hydrating kind of watery-ish jelly primer and then putting this on top. I do feel like it is a little bit luminous, which of course that'll change when I set it down, but it just makes me kind of wonder how it's gonna wear throughout the day. I do still see some of my dark spots peeking through on my cheek area, so although it did build nicely, I don't know if I can say that it builds to full coverage, because I do still think on a regular day I would probably have to go in with a little bit more coverage on my cheek area. And I don't know that I want to add more, but I don't know if you guys can see with my lights, but you can still kind of see my dark spots peeking through a little bit through the foundation. And like I said, I don't want to add too much more because I don't want it to start looking cakey. So I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my face, and then I will be back to give you guys my final thoughts once I finish applying the rest of my face products. Alright guys, so I'm back. I have my full face on, nothing special because as you guys know, we are reviewing the foundation. So I literally just finished the rest of my face products. I didn't do anything on the eyes. And this is what the skin is looking like after applying all of my face products. Now, one thing I will say about this foundation right off the bat, if you have dry skin, normal skin, or combo skin, mostly dry and normal though, you will probably love this foundation. And the reason I say that is because it does look very natural on the skin. I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but you can kind of see that my skin kind of has a very natural glow to it, more so than when I typically wear my matte foundations, because as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I am very, very oily. So I typically tend to steer more towards foundations that are going to help me control my oil. And although this one doesn't say that it's hydrating, I could tell. Now it could be the primer, so let me not put it all on the foundation. I may have to try it again with just my regular routine and give you guys an update in a later video. It could be the primer that is giving me that very hydrated, almost glowy kind of look, like natural glow, not oil glow, but like natural glow. I'm not mad at it, but I just wonder how it's going to wear throughout the day. So I'm just coming in a little bit closer so that you guys can see a little bit better how the skin is looking. And like I said, I'm not mad at it. I think it looks very natural, but again, I can see it's looking kind of luminous on me, like kind of like a natural radiant situation happening. Which makes me a little bit nervous about how it's going to wear throughout the day. So as you can see right now, it is currently 3:45. So I'm going to go ahead and wear this foundation for a couple of hours. I'm going to try to give you guys as close to a full day wear test as possible. I'm starting this foundation review a little bit earlier than my last one because I want to try to give you guys as many hours as possible wearing this foundation. So I'm going to wear it for a little bit and then I will come back and check in with you guys to show you how it's going. Hey guys, so I am back, and in this clip I'm showing you guys that the current time is 10:08. So we started this wear test at 3:45. So at this point I had the foundation on my skin for about 6 hours, a little over 6 hours actually at this point. So the reason I'm bringing you guys a voiceover is because I actually realized that I did not have my mic on for these clips, but I didn't want to toss them because as you can see, I'm showing you guys how the foundation looks after 7 hours of wear. So as you can see, my entire face is oily at this point. My forehead is oily, my cheeks are oily. That's pretty much what I'm showing you here. My eyebrows, my chin, the side of my face, like literally my entire face is oily. The only places on my skin that are not oily are my eyelids and right underneath my eyes, which I'm showing you guys right here. Outside of that, everything else on my face is oily. I did not blot at all throughout the entire day, so this is literally how my oils came through on the foundation after wearing it for a little over like 6 or 7 hours. So what I'm going to show you guys is my little blot test. As you can see, I have my tissue there, and that is why I could not get rid of these clips because obviously once I blot my skin, I cannot refilm that. So I wanted you guys to see how my skin looks after I actually blot it. And what I was just showing you there was how the foundation had kind of settled into my nose. I'm giving you guys a more up close look at my skin here. You can see all the oils that have come through. You can see how it's kind of settling in my nose creases a little bit. It did not crease around my mouth, so that is definitely a plus. But it did crease a little bit around my nose, and you can obviously see how the oils have pretty much completely taken over my face. So I'm going to go ahead and blot my skin. I'm just going to be taking a Kleenex tissue, and I'm just going to be pressing it along pretty much my entire face because, as you can see, it needs it. And then once I do that, we should be back to our regular audio, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts on how it looks after blotting the skin. Okay guys, so I just realized that I did not have my microphone on the whole time that I was just talking to you guys. So what I'm probably going to have to do is add in a voiceover on that part because I can't refilm it. Obviously, at this point, I've already blotted my face, so sorry about that. YouTube probs, welcome to the struggle of YouTube life. Luckily, I looked over and noticed that my little sound bars were not moving before I filmed this whole segment without the microphone on. But here we are. So I'll just go ahead and pick up where I was. Basically, what I was saying is that for the most part, my foundation has not really moved or shifted much, but I can definitely tell that I have a little less coverage than I had when I originally applied the foundation. I feel like even like in my brow area, which that may or may not have much to do with the foundation, but just overall on my face, it doesn't look as flawless as it did when I originally applied it, and I also don't have quite as much coverage as I did 6 hours ago. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys back out, and I'll give you my final thoughts on the foundation and the primer. So final thoughts on the Huda Beauty FauxFilter foundation stick and the water jelly. Is that what it was called? Yes, the Water Jelly Hydrating Primer. I honestly have, I feel like, mixed thoughts about the foundation stick. The primer itself, I probably won't really reach for that much because, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the Milk Hydro Grip is bae for me. So it's going to be hard to find another primer that beats this one. I like the formula of that one. I like how it wears on my face, how it holds my makeup in place. Like, there are just so many positives about that primer. I thought this one had the potential to be a dupe for it, but honestly, as soon as I squeezed it out on my hand and I saw how like watery and runny it was, I had a feeling it probably wasn't going to perform quite like the Milk Hydro Grip, which I guess is a little bit unfair for this one to compare it to that, but I bought it with the thought like that it was going to be similar. So I don't know. With this one, I'll probably end up not really using it that much just because I wasn't really a fan of the formula, like I said, and I don't really feel like it did a lot for my skin. Like anything extra outside of just being something extra that I put on my face, to be quite honest. With the foundation, like I said, I feel like I have mixed feelings. If I needed a foundation to last me all day, like a foundation that I'm wearing to work, a foundation that I'm wearing for a night out or a date night where I need like flawless coverage that is going to last me for however long I'm out, I would not reach for this foundation as someone with oily skin. Now, I will say that it does look very natural on the skin, as you guys saw when I applied it, and as you can see now, it gives you a very natural kind of luminous, radiant look to the skin. I feel like if you have dry skin, if you have normal skin, or even if you have combo skin, you will probably really, really love this foundation because it does give you that beautiful, natural, lightweight kind of radiant look with buildable coverage. That's just not my preference. As you guys saw with my skin in particular, I do have things that I do like to cover, and I'm not like a light to medium coverage kind of girl. I either want to be fully snatched or I'm probably not wearing makeup at all. There's not really an in-between for me. And also living in the South where the majority of the year it's hot, I would be concerned about wearing this foundation to really go anywhere. I only went outside for a couple of minutes to check the mail, to take my dog out. I wasn't outside for any extended period of time, and it also wasn't super hot today. So for my face to respond like this after pretty much being inside all day, I would really be concerned about how it would wear if I was really outside in the sun, you know, higher temperatures, upper 70s, 80s, 90-degree weather with this foundation. Sweating, I just really feel like it wouldn't hold up on my skin type. So like between just being out in the elements, sweating potentially, and just my natural oils, I just don't think that it would be able to hold up and remain flawless for an extended period of time. So to be quite honest with you guys, I think that if you are looking for a foundation that you maybe are only gonna wear for a couple of hours, like 2, 3, 4 hours, something quick that you just want to throw on really fast to kind of look somewhat put together but not like a full beat, or if you're looking for or like I said, if you have dry, normal, or combination skin, I think you will love this, honestly. But if you have oily skin, I would really only recommend this to you if you are just looking for something to wear for like a few hours, not like long wear. Also, if you don't mind having a more radiant, luminous look to your skin as opposed to a matte one, because you're not going to get a matte look with this. Even when I set my face, baked my face, my skin with this foundation still looked luminous, radiant, not oily when I initially put it on, but you could still kind of see like a natural radiance to the skin with this foundation. So yeah, I'm not going to necessarily say that I don't like it, because it's not necessarily that I don't like it. I think it's just not my preference. I think I probably would enjoy this foundation maybe mixed in with a more matte foundation, but to be quite honest, the way that the NARS Soft Matte Foundation performed, the way the Too Faced Born This Way matte foundation performed, and just so many other foundations that I have in my collection. The way that they perform, I could easily see myself reaching more for those foundations that I really, really love than I could see myself reaching for this one. And considering that it's a little bit more of a pricey foundation, I personally don't feel like it is worth it for me, just because I know I probably wouldn't reach for it that much, because I know it's not gonna really give me that longevity that I look for in a foundation. If I'm gonna take the time to beat my face, like really put in the time to get that flawless look, I want it to last all day. Even if my oils start to come through, I want to be able to blot and still maintain that coverage. And I feel like this foundation in particular, for my skin type, it just wasn't the business. Now, the original FauxFilter foundation, the liquid one, that one is everything. I love that one. It's full coverage. It lasts all day. It wears beautifully on my oily skin. Even after I've had it on for several hours and I blot my face, it still looks flawless. So if you have oily skin, I would recommend that one for you. This one may just be for, you know, that other group of people that isn't necessarily looking for matte, long wearing, super full coverage. The people that are looking for that more natural, radiant looking foundation, I think that is the audience for this one. So yeah, I think this is one of my first foundation reviews that I've had in a long time where I wasn't completely in love with the product, and that's okay. Like, everything that I try, I'm not going to be in love with. I really wanted to like it though, because especially being in quarantine now, it would have been great to have a foundation stick that I can just throw on real quick, blend out real fast, you know, do a quick little look for every day, and not have to fuss too much with like pumping liquid foundations and all of that process. But like I said, for me, I just think that, you know, my skin is just a little bit more high maintenance. So if you enjoyed this review, please give it a big thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. It really helps to get my video out to more people that are interested in seeing reviews of these foundations on oily skin. So if you could give me a thumbs up before you leave, I would really appreciate it. And also, if you have not joined the fam, what are you waiting for? I would love to have you as part of the Fayy fam, so be sure to click on the subscribe button down below before you go. And I think that's it. So let me know in the comments if you have tried this foundation, what your thoughts are. Are you planning on picking it up? Yes, no, maybe so. Are you on the fence? And what other foundations you guys would like to see me review here on my channel. So thanks so much again for watching, and I will see y'all very soon in my next one.